Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat podcast. It's episode number 102 today, where we will be discussing and breaking down Manchester United's 7-0 loss away to Liverpool. What a surprising game this was.
Wow.
I mean, I was lost for words when I saw this result. I mean, saying the same thing are the only words that can be used to describe it. It just seems unfathomable, considering everything going into the game, how Manchester United were in form, Liverpool were out of form, yet somehow Liverpool put 7 past them.
I think it's hard to say Liverpool were out of form. They'd looked good in recent weeks. Big win against Newcastle.
But they're still 7th in the league.
They are, they're 5th now, aren't they?
Oh, I don't know, I haven't looked.
Yeah, they've turned their season
Probably
around.
after the beating
They
United 7-0, they're probably going a
no
few
matter
spots.
the circumstances of who was in form, who wasn't, I did not see this being 7-0.
No, it was just cataclysmic across the board for Manchester United, and we're going to break down the game in a bit more detail. Obviously, we knew this game would be an interesting one, as both sides are very similar in the way they like to attack, aren't they? Both like to generate these transitional moments where they look to invite the pressure, get the ball in behind and try and score a goal. That was how Liverpool were so successful in their title-winning campaign. Obviously, Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, Firmino, incredibly good on the counter-attack. And this was actually a problem for Manchester United, wasn't it? We saw Liverpool come forward. Every single Liverpool goal was a very similar fashion. It was when they got those transitional moments.
Yeah.
There's a fundamental problem with Manchester United's press. See, how United press is very narrow, very aggressive. They like to go man for man, and they like to have a very narrow press. So they have their left winger, for example, on the right back, the striker on the left, on the right centre half, and then the right winger coming onto that left centre half. That means that the left back is always open, and that's obviously how we saw the first goal, didn't we? The Gakpo one. Yeah. Quite good. Robertson picking up the ball on that left-hand side, played that ball through to Gakpo after he took it past Dalot. Fred couldn't deal with Gakpo, and then Gakpo obviously cut inside, past Varane and slid it top corner, or bottom corner, wasn't it? But yeah, so that's how we tend to see how United got torn apart in the first half. But overall, the first half was quite balanced.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that caught me off guard. Is that first 45, it was a decently close game. United was still in it. They had chances. I mean, Bruno had a really good chance. There was probably a chance of the half until obviously Gakpo scored the first. But it was really intriguing to see that the 15-minute break changed the game dramatically. Yeah, well, it did. The first half was finely balanced. The second half, United capitulated, and there's a few key reasons for this. United are over-aggressive, out of possession. We mentioned there's a fundamental weakness in their press, and that's that they like to go player to player, man for man. That relies heavily on them winning the 1v1s. Now, a lot of the time, this works. They can, Fred, we've seen win the ball up high up the pitch a lot of times this season, and then be able to create a chance off of that, playing it out wide or playing it into Rashford. Something like that can work really nicely. But if you lose your 1v1s, which as you tend to concede more goals is what happens, you tend to start slipping. The concentration slips, you lose more 1v1s, you concede more goals. And I think this is a problem for Manchester United. Because if they can't go 2-0 down without then conceding a third, and then a fourth, and then a fifth, and then a sixth, and then even a seventh, it's a massive issue. And we'll get onto their mentality in a moment. But yeah, obviously that then exposes the back line if they lose those 1v1s, especially against a team like Liverpool, who love to generate these dangerous transitional moments, as we've mentioned. It means that if they lose the ball in those 1v1s, instantly Liverpool can spring an attack, and that can be potentially very problematic for Manchester United, as was shown in the game. Well, that's how they got their goals. They lost the ball in midfield. It was then played to one of the Liverpool forwards, who may have to take it past a player or may just have a clean shot at goal, and instantly they've got a goal. So that was generally how that second half played out. Ended up 7-0. But yeah, there's a lot to discuss. So that the second goal was Nunez's, wasn't it? Yeah.
Nunez's header, quite easy header, that one. 3 1v1s lost in midfield, I noted. Casemiro, I think, was the last to lose it, and then it ended up with Harvey Elliott out wide. Crossed it in for Nunez, and he just pretty much headed it into an empty net. Gakpo, similar. Martinez lost that 1v1 to Salah. Salah then plays it into Gakpo. It's a very nice finish. I thought Cody Gakpo looked really, really good in this game.
He did.
But the whole front three did.
They did. I still think we're yet to see if they're really there yet.
Oh, I think all getting a brace and a 7-0 drop in Manchester United is a pretty good
I mean,
indication.
United made it easy for them.
They did, and yeah, as goals goes in, there's that concentration drops, more goals conceded, as we've mentioned. Then it was 4-0. Salah slaps it home. 5-0. That Henderson cross, and Nunes had a second unmarked header. Quite easy chances, but he's got to finish them. Yeah, the flick behind, wasn't it? And then the 6th goal was the ball ricocheting around the area. Salah just slotted that one home. The 7th was that good finish from Firmino at the end, past De Gea.
I don't know what defender on the line and De Gea. I don't know how you don't stop that.
Well, this is the issue, isn't it? Once they get to 6-0, they don't have the mentality of let's just not concede anymore.
But from that angle, how you're letting that ball in the goal, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, just to conclude then on that breakdown, the first half was finally balanced with both sides looking to generate transitional moments, and Liverpool sort of just got lucky. They exposed Manchester United's one weakness in the press, and they were able to exploit that, and they got a goal from it. The second half then, Manchester United capitulated in their aggressive out-of-possession system. Liverpool took full advantage and deserved 7-0 winners.
Yeah.
So yeah, very strong performance from Liverpool. They looked incredibly good. In terms of the impacts then, this is one where we can debate it a little more. It's not as cut and dry as this is what happened, these are the issues. It's very much more abstract. Is this a problem for the future for Manchester United?
I mean, I think the first thing I'd say is that they cannot overreact. I mean, a lot of fans are going, 7-0 to our closest rivals, the club's in trouble, we're rubbish, we're this. You won a cup final a week ago. United fans cannot overreact at all, and the United players can't. Ten Hag can't. You cannot forget that this is one game.
Yeah.
And if they're on the Carabao Cup, if they go on to win the FA Cup and the Europa League and finish higher than Liverpool in the league, they won't care about the 7-0.
Yeah.
They'll completely forget about it.
Yeah, fair enough. And the same sentiment is made with this tweet from Euro-Expert. Go and check him out on Twitter. Very insightful page. But he just said, it's mad what one loss can do. Before the weekend, there were statements about how Weghorst has been excellent, Dalot is top class, United is an elite centre-back, and United are top. One loss later, Weghorst needs to leave, Dalot should be upgraded, Martinez is exposable, and United are bad.
Exactly. It's just
Football fans are fickle. One bad result, one heavy loss. I agree. Losing 7-0 to Liverpool is disgraceful. Manchester United cannot afford to lose 7-0 to Liverpool.
I feel like for United fans, if it wasn't Liverpool, there'd be less of a big reaction.
I still think a 7-0 loss to anyone in the Premier League.
If you lose 7-0 to Southampton, you might...
Mate, if you lose 7-0 to this Southampton team,
God.
I would want the entire
basically,
team
you don't want to lose
signed.
7-0.
But yeah, I do think Manchester United do need to consider their problems, because they're definitely not there yet. We've spoken this season how Manchester United could be challengers for the Premier League, and then you see stuff like this and you're reminded of where those issues lie. There's still some big problems.
They're still close, and I just don't think they don't need to overreact to this. They just need to sort it. It will be a problem in the future if they don't sort it. But it's happened once. They've got to sort it out, and if they can sort it out, it won't happen again. Yeah.
Looking at the factors that cause this, then should Ten Hag adapt his system? Because we see this really over-aggressive, out-of-possession system. It works really, really well in some games. But they've lost 6-2 to Manchester City and 7-0 to Liverpool now.
The only thing for me is that it's not... For me, it isn't the system's fault they concede 7, they concede 6.
No, but does it not just breed more problems? If your system is very much more compact... and you're not, you're regrouping, then maybe you don't concede so many.
But then does it become, do you do it dependent on the opponent?
Well, yeah, maybe you should be setting up more
could embarrass you, then you've got to be careful. If you're going to Reading away, I don't think you need to adapt your system to avoid a bloodbath. Yeah.
But it's similar to Marcelo Bielsa. If you remember him at Leeds, he played a very similar aggressive system. They either won 4-3 or lost 6-0, and it was brilliant.
His problem came his problem came when he had injuries and then refused to change it. So he had left wingers playing right centre half. Yeah. And players just playing out of position, and it didn't work. Probably did at one point. I think I did see.
I don't remember seeing Rafinha having a.
He's a good tackler. We learned that when watching Barca lose to United again.
Well, that's the thing. United have had some brilliant moments this year. They've won the Carabao Cup against a good Newcastle.
Exactly.
A side that are really good defensively, but also coming forward in Newcastle.
7 days ago, United fans saying, we're the best team, we're brilliant, we've won a Carabao Cup, we're going to go push on and win loads of trophies. A week later, they say the whole squad's rubbish and that Ten Hag needs to go and they need to completely clear out.
I think that's just the general attitude of football fans, though. Like Chelsea fans, I've already seen people getting back on that Potter train because of one win to Leeds.
Give him time.
I'll always be
Fafana's
sticking
fit
with
and we'll be fine.
Potter.
Yeah.
For now, obviously, if we get
Get
relegated,
I think I would probably have some questions.
But yeah,
but just don't
fans are fickle.
overreact from Manchester United.
Fair enough. But yeah, looking at the deeper issues at the club, then do you think Manchester United have a mentality problem?
I know it's not quite the Premier League level, but as a player, been on the wrong side of some heavy losses. But you already know that as a player, and it should kick in automatically. If you know that you are, once you concede 3 or 4, it should kick in automatically that you make sure you do not concede any more.
But even if it kicks in as an individual, if there's 1 or 2 players not looking interested,
as a team, you should all realise, Christ, we're 4-0. This is already embarrassing at 4. We have to, work hard to make sure we aren't embarrassed even.
I think this lies on on multiple shoulders. You could look at the players on the pitch and you could say they need to be still focusing in this. They're 3-0 down. They shouldn't then let their heads drop and then concede 7. But you could also look at Ten Hag. Why does he not make a change then? Surely you set up defensive, you keep it at 3-0, you maintain your dignity.
You've got to make changes.
Instead, we're now sat here recording a podcast as to how they lost 7-0.
One player I do want to talk about is Bruno Fernandes. What a joke.
Yeah, well, that.
I'm sorry,
gets into that mentality, doesn't it? When your captain is the one that immediately lets his head drop,
and if
can't be good.
And if he's diving around on the floor, saying he's smacked in the face when it hasn't even, it's just touched his chest. But I'm sorry.
And I think the moment that boiled Manchester United fans pissed the most was him requesting to be substituted.
If you see your captain at 6-0 down go, can you sub me off? Why are any other players going to bother? He's meant to be your leader. He's meant to be your, like battle. You're going into battle, he's the one you follow. If you see him asking to be subbed off at 6-0, why on earth would you bother trying to play?
There are only 2 reasons you should ever ask to be subbed off. And 1 is you're injured or you're having a medical emergency, or 2, your wife is pregnant with your baby and it's being delivered now. Yeah. I don't know how you'd find that on the pitch without the manager telling you.
They'd probably sub you off anyway.
They probably would go, come on, mate.
There are 2 reasons where they will sub you off.
Yeah. Well, no, because you could carry on with an injury, couldn't you? But it's the only reason really you should come off.
Just embarrassing.
Yeah.
And that could be the one. That's the difference. The mentality last week was and this could be United's problem. Is their mentality last week? I think they were lucky they're up against the Newcastle side. If you get that
out of form, Newcastle side.
But my worry would have been is if they played a side and if they'd gone 1-0 down, 2-0 down that final, I think they would have got embarrassed, just like they did here.
I disagree because of the nature of how Newcastle play.
Okay, no,
Newcastle are very good going forward.
That's what I'm saying. If it wasn't Newcastle, if
it was Liverpool in the same situation,
if they get to Europa League final and they somehow get Arsenal and Arsenal go 2-3 up.
Yeah, if it's another team that loves to generate these transitional moments,
and
then
the problem would
enough.
be, if you've got a mentality like that, you will. I mean, quite simply, you will not win anything.
No.
Cup, so
I was going to say, maybe not.
You will struggle to win trophies.
I think you can win cup competitions with a poor mentality.
Oh yeah, because
I think Chelsea proved that.
Look at the run that United got.
No, but I think
I'm not one to say that teams get it easy, because obviously they did really well to get to the final and then win it. But look at the run they got.
Of course, but you could argue every team in history's never got a cup. Every team that's won the cup, every big side that's ever won the cup has never faced a challenge better than themselves. Have they?
Yeah.
So,
No, I see what you mean.
Unless they're a massive underdog.
They got Villa, Charlton.
Yeah, I agree. They had a weak run.
I mean, back in the olden days, that is 3 very tough games.
You could also argue it falls on the other teams that they didn't get that far. Manchester City got knocked out by Southampton. That's not United's fault. Arsenal got knocked out by who was it? Can't remember.
Yeah, I also want to point out, and I'm not saying anything here, but I would just like to point out that in the last 10 cup draws, United have been drawn as the home side.
Yeah,
in both the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup.
Tough tie in that
which is ridiculous.
I think the cup ties have been really weird this year. Like Chelsea drawing City in both the Carabao and the
United getting at
FA.
home every single round.
Yeah, both Chelsea and Arsenal already being out of the FA Cup because they've both had to play City.
Yeah.
I also find that mental because now you're left with a quarter-final stage where 4 Premier League clubs are left.
Who did United get? Everton and West Ham.
Yeah, we're guaranteed a championship side in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
And we could genuinely have no Premier League sides.
Draw United, then United will smack them up. Then United will get Brighton in the final and beat
Is it Brighton Fulham in the semis?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we will have one Premier League side then. But if somehow Burnley beat City, or who is it? Blackburn United? I can't remember who's got United now.
They probably have got Blackburn or some random.
I'll have a look. I don't think it's. I know it's not Grimsby because that would be a brilliant game.
Do you think that I do think that does also affect the mentality? Because when they get these
winning the cup,
they get these easy cup draws and things like that.
United have Fulham, so it's not Brighton. Brighton play Grimsby, so you could genuinely have a situation where not a single Prem. Yeah. Oh, other than United, Fulham, obviously.
But playing all these easy sides in the cup competitions, where it's not like a cup tie, where you have to you have to come from 1-0 down, you have to come from 2-0 down, and you have the mentality to dig in and win the game.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of individuals at Manchester United who are still in it just for themselves. There's a lot of selfish players still there. I think you have to start weeding them out. And United, I think, will over the next few years. But, yeah, maybe that's not a personnel. Maybe it's a whole squad mentality problem because it seems that way.
I know you shouldn't really point fingers after a 7-0 loss. But if you're Erik Ten Hag, Bruno Fernandes doesn't get in my matchday squad for your next game. Not a chance. There's no way a player.
But I don't think it was I agree. He deserves.
Off that should even touch the football pitch next game.
Yeah, the FPL players. Look out for that
I have
one.
got in my FPL team though. So Ten Hag maybe don't know, but yeah, he genuinely wouldn't.
I think you'd give him a game on the sidelines, but in terms of actual laying blame anyone's shoulders is impossible because everyone made mistakes.
Yeah,
every player on the pitch made a mistake. So.
But I do think we will see a response from United. We look at Ten Hag where they've had problems this season. Rashford turned late to a meeting. He benched him. He then subbed him on. He scored 2 goals at Wolves.
Yeah.
I think Ten Hag will deal with this well.
Do you think they got it right, going Rashford up front, Weghorst and attacking midfield? Bruno out left?
No.
That's again more aggressive because you're taking a midfielder out of the middle. You're going up. You're putting Rashford up front to try and maximise those transitional moments.
You cannot use the ball at his feet in a central attacking midfield.
It feels like they're very much shoehorning Weghorst in.
Weird.
Why don't you just play another midfielder in there?
Yeah.
Or put Garnacho on the left and keep Bruno in his actual position.
I know he's injured, but you did have Eriksen.
You could have Fred, Casemiro, Eriksen all in there. So
it's just very confusing from United, but
yeah, for
them, because Liverpool are still part of this game too. But for United, it was embarrassing. But I do think they will respond.
They're torn apart. Should we talk about Liverpool? Because I think they'll be a lot more cheery for the first time this season. Liverpool fans aren't going to hate us.
Do you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah.
I believe they win their game in hand. They're 4th. What a turnaround that is.
It's huge, isn't it? Yeah. Do you think this will be a massive confidence boost for Liverpool? I mean, you'd imagine so, wouldn't you?
Oh no. Or 7. Yeah. I think any team that wins 7-0 are probably going to be very high.
Yeah, well, obviously people have been writing them off.
On a high.
In the Champions League, they're 5-2 down to Real Madrid on aggregate. Real coming in following a loss in the Copa del Rey final. Oh, they're feeling a bit sad. Liverpool coming in following a 7-0 win. No. Oh, there's a week in between though, isn't it? It's not Real Liverpool this week.
Yeah.
It's Real Liverpool next week. But
no.
Oh, Liverpool going to win their game of the weekend.
And I think Liverpool will prove they've been very inconsistent. Like they beat Newcastle and drew to Palace. I think they could again. I don't think they'll get torn apart, but they'll lose. But yeah, this will be a big confidence boost. As I said, 3 points off top 4 of the game in hand. What a turnaround! Salah looks back at his best. Nunez and Gakpo did look very decent.
Well, is that probably finally working? They seem to link up quite nicely. They seem to be communicating and moving in the right sort of manner to how you'd expect Liverpool to work.
Maybe it's there.
Maybe. The problem for Klopp's Liverpool is that teams worked out what they were going to do. They worked out they wanted to invite the pressure and then, play that ball forward and get those transitional moments.
Liverpool are still poor defensively. And if a team can challenge their defence, they will concede.
But are they? They didn't concede to Manchester United. How has
the amount of times Liverpool fans I talk to, they keep showing me this one tackle that Trent made on Rashford when Rashford was through on goal and Trent got the ball and I'm like, he still can't defend.
But has Klopp changed something in the Liverpool tactics? Because it seems that way. They don't seem to be so dangerous.
It's one game.
But they're playing out the press again. What happened for Liverpool was that they liked to play the ball out the back. As more pressing teams came into the Premier League, they struggled more and more. And now, maybe they've found a way to play out that press.
I mean, you look at the stats, obviously you go 3 clean sheets in their last 3 games. Then I look at it and go, Newcastle were down 10 men and did look the better side, and you think if they had another man, they'd done alright. Palace, yes, they didn't concede, but they didn't score any. You know, Real, they scored 2, conceded 5. United looked nowhere near them.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's all for today.
Yeah.
Can they? Well, yeah. Last thing, can Liverpool carry momentum?
I think they've already done it. I think they have carried the momentum, and that's why they are now only 3 points off top 4.
Well, that's the thing. So looking at the Premier League table, just quickly.
Oh yeah, I think I'm right. I hope I'm right.
So Liverpool are now 3 points off Tottenham with a game in hand. So there's 13 games to play. That's 39 points on offer. If Liverpool were to win every single one of them, which seems a bit of a stretch, I agree, they'd finish on 81 points. Is there a chance?
No.
How high could they end up?
No. That's not. No, sorry. I was just writing for the sake of the title fight.
No, they're not in a title fight, mate. Come on. They're,
I say.
What?
22 points behind.
They're 21 points behind Arsenal. A good way off City as well.
I still think we've got something to see from Brighton. They've got loads of games in hand on everyone.
Why have Brighton not played any football?
And Brentford. Brighton and Brentford have still got loads of games
in hand. They've both got a double next week, and then play in weeks after.
I do think Liverpool will get top 4 though.
Yeah, because Tottenham are crap, Newcastle have fallen off,
and
United
it'll be interesting to see the reaction from United.
Is there a chance United slip out of Champions League spots?
No.
What if Tottenham find form and Liverpool find form?
No, miracles aren't going to happen. Tottenham don't find
What if
form.
Newcastle and Liverpool find form?
Tottenham drew to Wolves. They lost to Wolves.
They did do that.
Yeah.
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 All right, Tottenham are out of it.
Tottenham are rubbish.
Yeah, Wolves now.
That's
13th.
a separate point. That's a point for another day. We'll wait until they lose 7-0 to Liverpool, and then we can.
But yeah, that is all. That's probably all for today. This is a bit of a weird timed podcast. We want to get this out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
This will be late Monday night. I don't know how late. Whether this is
Should be too late.
8 p.m, 9 p.m. episode, or whether it's later. Hopefully, it's not any later. But yeah, there will be another podcast at the usual time on Wednesday, so look out for that. I think we're going to discuss the relegation fight because there's 6 points in it at the moment between 12th and bottom.
Any team could go down.
So look out for that on Wednesday. But that is all from us today. If you have enjoyed, please do get involved in the comments down below. Tell us what you thought of today's video, whether you thought it was decent, and what you thought of the game. Manchester United 0, Liverpool 7. That is all from us today, though. Wow. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.